Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I just thought I'd do a fairly short video, just showing off some DVDs actually, just some of my favourite movies. I thought it'd just be nice to have a little yap about them. Whoever's watching this, maybe it'll introduce you to a couple of nice movies or give you some ideas for a little evening movie night. And hopefully it's just a nice relaxing chill video. Let's get straight into it. So I'll start off with one of my favourite sagas, which is the Twilight Saga. I feel I've been judged quite a lot over the years for liking Twilight. But to the people that have judged me for it, screw you, okay? Twilight is good. I'm fully aware that objectively it is not a good series, but there's just always been something about it that I do quite enjoy. I think it's just kind of the mysticalness. It's quite a romantic, nice. Some of them are quite nice. So this box set does have all the 5 movies, from Twilight to New Moon to Eclipse to both Breaking Dawns. I think my favourite of them all is New Moon there, which is the second movie. When I was younger, so I first watched Twilight at, I'd say, around age 15. And when I was younger, sort of up to maybe 18, I found New Moon to be quite a good movie for when I just wasn't feeling great, which back then was quite a lot. Honestly, I still feel the same way. It's a good movie for just when you're feeling a bit under the weather. But also just the very first movie, Twilight, I do love that one as well. The blue tint, really just, I love the vibes of it. And if you haven't checked them out, go into it with low expectations from a movie standpoint, but you never know, you might just click with it like I did. Alongside the movies, I also actually have the full set of books, which are a nice read. Okay, time for the next movie, which I decided to be Star Wars 3. Revenge of the Sith. This is one of my favourite movies of all time. I would say top 3. Just everything about it. I really love this movie. I know the prequels get quite a lot of hate, but all 3 of them I really do enjoy. And this is the one that just tops it all off, where all the sort of finale happens. It's just got almost non-stop action, but it's integrated quite well with the slower scenes that are kind of building up the plot, which is very important for a large universe kind of movie like this. I can't remember even when I first watched this. It must have been when I was a kid. I've always been a massive Star Wars fan, and this is the one that solidified that for me, I think. Like, just even the cover art, it is just so cool. Then you've got Anakin and Obi-Wan having their famous duel. A scene I do always remember from this movie is then Obi-Wan goes to Utapau to fight General Grievous, and Grievous pulls out all his arms. That scene has always just hit for me. The very first time I watched it, however many years ago, to even now, I see that scene and I just go, I can watch it a million times. And it is definitely helped by the presence of Samuel Jackson, because who doesn't love that man? Okay, the next movie is a bit of a daft one. Freddy versus Jason. So I'm a little bit of a horror fan. I went through a massive horror phase for a few years. It was all I watched for a little while. I got a bit obsessive. And this is one that kind of stood out to me. It's quite an interesting movie, and there's quite a lot of behind the scenes content that you can go see. There is one scene where Jason, who is this scary fella right there, gets set on fire and walks through a corn maze. And the behind the scenes footage actually shows the actor on fire just walking through this corn. And it really is crazy to see. It's so interesting how just behind the scenes stuff goes on. This movie, I'll be honest, it's not a good movie. The plot, the story, even the characters, it's not good. But you've just got the two horror legends just having over-the-top battles with each other. It's a good one to stick on when you don't know what else to watch and you don't feel like taking anything too seriously. But that is the first horror movie that I've got to show. I think there's 3 total, so I'll be fairly quick with it. The next one is Wrong Turn. So this is a movie about a man, which is that guy right there, who is just trying to pass by some mountains. I believe it was for a job interview or something. It's kind of unnecessary in the movie. And so he's trying to pass through, but he ends up stuck with a bunch of other people who are basically getting picked off one by one by cannibal hillbilly mountain men. It's a very kind of classic tropey movie. Hopefully that wasn't loud. Oops. It's a very typical 2000s horror movie. Nothing is very standoutish about it, but that's kind of why I love it. Again, it's a movie you can put on when you don't know what else to watch and you don't feel like paying much attention. And I love it for that. And the setting of it, so sort of all the Appalachian Mountains in the US, I think it's a very gorgeous setting. And those are mountains that I would love to traverse myself one day. I've wanted to do the Appalachian Trail for a little while. And in a weird way, that probably leads back to this movie. Just being able to kind of see how it can all look, and it's just beautiful out there. And I'm quite a nature boy anyway, so. But yeah, that's Wrong Turn. There are a few sequels to it, but we're not going to talk about those because they're just not the best. Besides number 2. Number 2 is kind of fun. Okay, next up we've got House of 1,000 Corpses. I've got to be careful with this one because the disc has actually fallen down as the little holder's broken inside the case. So I won't tip and tap with that. Instead, I've just got these, so I'm just gonna pinch them a few times whilst talking about the movie. So this used to be my favourite movie for quite a considerable amount of time, actually. It's directed by Rob Zombie, who is, from what I can tell anyway, what I know about him, he's quite a cool guy. It is a very kind of messed up movie. It's quite dark. It's got a few kind of comedic bits to it, as well as my favourite character in it, who is Captain Spaulding, who is a clown. I've even got a t-shirt with him on, which I should have worn for this video. I'm wearing the most boring t-shirt in the world right now. But yeah, that used to be my favourite movie, and it's still up there. It's still a nice watch. As I said earlier, though, I'm just not as into horror as I used to be. I think a certain point of kind of obsession with it, you need to make yourself back off. And so yeah, I did that. But it is still a nice movie for sure. Nice might be the wrong word, but it is a fun watch. And now as Halloween has gone by, it's still spooky season, okay? I think you can get away with it for a few days. So I would recommend House of a Thousand Corpses if you're feeling like a horror movie. Okay, next up, changing up just a little bit, we've got The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. This is a Ben Stiller movie. I do quite like the art for it, actually. It's quite funny. This, to me, has always been one of those movies that, after watching it, you just really feel like you need to get out of your chair, go get on a plane, and live life. That happens whenever I watch it, so I'm quite kind of careful about when I watch it, to be honest. It really is a beautiful movie. Just, to me, it's just about a man living the most basic life, and then he's just thrust a bunch of adventures, and he just takes it all under his wing, and he goes to Iceland, runs away from a volcano, he swims with sharks, just all this stuff. And a lot of the movie it is quite dull when he's living his normal life, and it gets quite excitable when he's doing all these heroics, but then towards the end it kind of slows back down and teaches you to appreciate the fast moments, just to slow them down yourself and just sit with them. I just think it's got a lot of really good messages in it, and this is just a movie I really do adore it. Ben Stiller, he's a great actor. I think he's probably most well known for Night at the Museum, which that was my childhood in that movie. The amount of times I watched it, especially with Rexy in it, the big skeleton T-Rex. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a paleontologist, so that was just so cool to me. I really did love that. However, onwards we go, onto a similar movie in my mind, which is Jim Carrey's Yes Man. Again, a bit of a silly cover to it. I'll show you the back while I start talking. This is another movie that when I watch, I find it makes me just want to live life a bit more. The whole premise of this movie, and I've also read the book, which is obviously a similar thing. I do recommend the book as well. But the whole premise of it is you can only say yes. No does not exist in your vocabulary. So, for an example, in the movie, he gets approached by a homeless man, gets asked a bunch of ridiculous things, and he has to say yes. And it ends up leading him to a girl that he loves. And it just shows, I think, that saying yes can just do so many things for you. It's a very silly movie. It's a very sweet movie. And again, it's one I find kind of inspirational. It's just another one of kind of breaking out of your shell, and just allowing yourself to live life, which I think is quite an easy thing to forget how to do. I myself am very guilty of that, just day in and day out, the same a day, repeated over and over. So I quite like movies like this, that you watch it and you just feel such a strong desire to get out into the world and just be free. I think those movies are quite special, and I feel a lot of movies try to do that but fail. The two that I just showed you, I feel they completely succeed. Okay, time for a musical. We've got The Greatest Showman, which was bought for £9.99 apparently. That must have been quite a number of years ago now. I'm not sure when it came out actually. It must have been 2017 maybe? Something like that. But yeah, so this is a musical. It gets quite a lot of hate for being very historically inaccurate, as the main character, portrayed by Hugh Jackman. In the movie, obviously they're not going to make him an evil person. It's quite an upbeat, happy movie, but in real life he is known to be not a very nice man. I'm not going to go into all that now, but that's a reason a lot of people don't like the movie. I feel that you have to just treat it as what it is, a movie. It's not a documentary, it's a musical. It's a very fun one. Some of the songs are so catchy. It's just a nice movie. There's a lot of quite pretty scenes. It's got Hugh Jackman and Zac Efron in it, both amazing actors. And it's definitely worth a watch if you just want a little sing, if you want to be sitting on the couch, just tapping your knee, going... It's a nice movie. Next up, we've got one from my childhood, which is George of the Jungle and George of the Jungle 2, but mainly George of the Jungle. This is just... yeah, this was my childhood. The amount of times I watched this with Brendan Fraser as George. I don't know if you'll be able to see, there's a few pictures there that are quite nice. I'm going to ignore number 2. I don't remember a lot about that besides just a couple of random scenes. For me, it's the first one. That it is just such a lovely movie. It's really quite a beautiful one, I think. Just this jungle man meeting like a city girl. It's a very funny movie as well. There's a couple of scenes in it that no matter, when I was 5 or now as I'm a grown-ass adult, apparently, they still make me laugh. It is just such a lovely movie, a very, very silly one, but one I think that you can just enjoy at any age if you just go into it with just a happy mindset, I think. Yeah, it's definitely one of my all-time favourites. And also, I don't think it's so well known because people kind of gravitate towards Tarzan. I've never seen Tarzan. I think it's a movie, or maybe it's a show. I've never seen anything to do with Tarzan. I've grown up being a George of the Jungle kind of boy. Okay, that's just who I am. Okay, and the final DVD I pulled out, because now as Halloween's done, I'm starting to feel a little bit Christmassy. So we've got my favourite Christmas movie. It's The Grinch That Stole Christmas. So this is the one played by Jim Carrey, who is for sure one of my favourite actors. Many of my favourite movies have him being the star. For example, this, I believe it's Bruce Almighty is the name, that's another one. Truman, I've actually got a poster for that somewhere. There it is. Ta-da! It's just a little postcard sized poster that I'm going to put up. Such a beautiful movie, by the way. But for now, let's talk about this one. Honestly, there's not too much to say about it. I feel everybody knows this movie. It is just a very Christmassy movie. It's always one that I watch in December, pretty much every year, just to get me in that Christmas spirit. It's a very silly movie, and it's just a lot of fun, I think. As I say, I think everyone's seen it. If you haven't, check it out, okay? You're in trouble if not. Anyway, that's about it for all the movies that I wanted to show. Just some of my favourites, and just some of the ones I have on DVD. There's other movies I love as well that I just don't have on DVD and that I watch online. But those are a fair few of them. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this video. I hope that maybe it gives you an idea for some movies to watch. And even if not, I hope you enjoyed just listening to me yap. Yeah, I think that all about it. So thank you for tuning in, and have a lovely night.